Nancy O'Malley's handling of the Black Friday 14 case is discriminatory. Many protests have taken place in the Bay Area and the growing movement for Black lives, but O'Malley has chosen to target the all-black group deemed the Black Friday 14, who shut down West Oakland BART station in solidarity with Ferguson's call for a national day of action on Black Friday. Charges have not been pursued by O'Malley for hundreds of Bay Area protesters who shut down highways and interstates, Montgomery BART station, and even the Oakland Police Department. She is aggressively pursuing charges against the Black Friday 14. Her punitive and aggressive treatment towards Black community activists is representative of a racist and unethical track record as Alameda County's district attorney.
Kayla Moore, a plus-size transgender Black woman who had paranoid schizophrenia, was murdered by Berkeley police officers in her home while experiencing a psychiatric emergency. Officers pinned her down, suffocating her to death. Her neighbors reported that they heard screaming followed by an abrupt silence signaling her death. O'Malley never investigated Kayla Moore's murder because there was no gunshots fired.
Alan Bluford was murdered by Oakland police officer Masso on May 6, 2012 in East Oakland in an instance of racial profiling. Despite the fact that it was just after midnight, Officer Masso and his partner slowly approached Bluford and two friends with all lights off on their squad car. When Masso and his partner got out of the car, they started roughing up the two young men, with Alan prompting Bluford to run. Alan ran for almost 5 blocks until he tripped and fell on his back with his hands up over his head. Masso shot Alan 3 times and also shot himself once in the foot. According to multiple witnesses at the scene, Alan's last words were, "Why did you shoot me? I didn't do anything." Masso lied and said that Alan shot him, and that was the reason he had to murder Alan. After investigation, which proved that Masso's sworn testimony was false, DA O'Malley ruled Masso's actions surrounding Alan's death justifiable homicide.
Raheem Brown was shot 5 times, twice in the head, resulting in his death, by OUSD police officers outside of Skyline High School. While officers allege Brown attempted to stab an officer with a screwdriver, Tamisha Stewart, who was in the car with Brown, states that the screwdriver was being used in an attempt to hotwire the car. She says the screwdriver never left the ignition.
Derek Jones was murdered by 2 Oakland police officers who responded to a domestic disturbance call from a woman who claimed that Jones attempted to strangle her at his barbershop. Jones fled on foot when questioned by the officers, who proceeded to open 6 rounds of fire on him, believing he was in possession of a gun. There was no gun found at the scene of murder. After investigation, there was no prosecution of officers involved in the murder of Derek Jones.
Case after case in Alameda County, we see that District Attorney Nancy O'Malley's non-prosecution of officers comes at the expense of Black lives. Her complicity in the state murder of Black people is representative of a larger systemic problem that activists in Ferguson have pointed out. Police are not accountable to communities they are supposed to serve.
Local district attorneys across the U.S. have refused to hold police accountable for murder. For O'Malley, this is no surprise. The San Francisco Bay Area Independent Media Center reports that O'Malley received campaign contributions from the Oakland Police Officers Association and Oakland Police Sergeants Robert Nolan, James Rulimas, and Oakland Police Officer Warren Young. This represents a gross conflict of interest. Community interests and safety are getting drowned out by the money and political influence of law enforcement agencies and police unions, who often refuse to admit any guilt in the national trend of law enforcement's unwarranted murder of Black people.
The system is guilty, not the Black Friday 14. Nancy O'Malley dropped the charges and ransom being held against these freedom fighters. The Black Friday 14 was responding to a national crisis. The 2012 Malcolm X grassroots movement Operation Ghetto Storm Report found that every 28 hours, a Black person is killed by a police officer, vigilante, or security guard. We need emergency action right now to protect the lives of Black people and to actualize true justice for the countless Black families and communities who have lost loved ones due to state-sanctioned murder. Dr. King said, "Disinherited people all over the world are bleeding to death from deep social and economic wounds. They need brigades of ambulance drivers who will have to ignore the red lights of the present system until the emergency is solved.